Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video. Now rather unsurprisingly, after last week's video, which I'll put a link up here to somewhere, I couldn't resist coming back to Lanford Lowfields. Really because of the hobbies, because I had such a great time photographing them, and the problem with that is that with wildlife photography you hardly ever get the same conditions twice. And we've had a couple of hobbies up here today, so I've got a little bit of footage and some still images which I'll put up at the end of this video, but it's been a lot harder than last time. So I don't know whether you can hear, you probably can't. I've got a cuckoo over there somewhere. The bitten's been booming as well, but whether we'll actually see that. And if you can see in the distance here, as of my last video, it looks like there's more thunder on the way. That is getting definitely closer. I have got my ground sheet again if I need to get under it, and there's a hobby just here now, just over here. It looks like they're feeding just in front of the storm actually, so I'm going to try and get some more shots and some more footage. Then I'm going to have a wander around the rest of Lanford Lowfields, see if I can see anything else, and probably hide under the ground sheet for a while looking at that. So stick around with me and yeah, we'll see what else we can find. Haven't seen the female Marsh Harrier today. It was quite, on Saturday when I came up, it was quite interesting because the hobbies and the Marsh Harrier all seemed to be in the same area, and the Marsh Harrier was continually hunting over what seemed to be a little piece of ground that was the size of a tennis court, and she just would not come towards us. She kept hovering over this little area, then dropping down and then coming back up again, and it was quite frustrating really. Then right at the end of the day, she came sort of round us. She didn't fly straight over, she came round on the rim. I got a reasonable bit of footage, which obviously that you're seeing now, so I was quite pleased with that. I don't know whether I've said before that I really enjoy taking footage these days, especially the slow motion footage, because I think you do get such a detailed look at a bird or an animal when you take it in slow motion, and it really enhances it really. But yeah, it is quite barren up here. There's some little sort of scrapes that are out of the water. I suppose this is ideal for waders up this section, but you can't really get close enough to get any decent images. But yeah, it's I always like to come up here because sometimes you get mammals and stuff around, so and it's also just nice to get a little bit of a walk in. And you can also see this black, I mean, look at this. Have you ever, that is wicked. So that has, hopefully I think that's gone or going round me, but if it doesn't, the ground sheet's going to be out. Always nice to get a shot of a great crested grebe there. It's really nice when you get, I like to get them when you've not got a lot of reflection off the water, so you've got a nice sort of deep green colour over there in certain areas, and then it's really reflecting quite a lot on the surface there, the sky is. So I was just waiting around, and he actually ducked under the bridge at one point, so yeah, I was quite pleased to get a couple of decent shots there. The light is terrible. Yeah, I keep hearing that cuckoo again. I'm sure it's following me around, but I can't see it. So I'm just gonna see if there's anything over this side, and then I think we'll head back and call it a day. Right, good morning everybody. Now I know you weren't expecting me to come back to Lanford Lowfields, but I have done. A couple of reasons really. One is that when I'd finished recording that section and the rest of the vlog when I got back home, I know I said I was trying out some new audio, which turned out to be absolutely fantastic. It worked really well, but unfortunately for some reason one of the clips I must have switched to manual focus on the camera, and it just didn't focus on me at all. I'd like to say it's because my camouflage was so good that I sort of merged into the background, but I don't think it was that. So I'd got one out of focus clip, and I thought, well, as soon as it's not very far away from me and we have all this hobby action going on, why not come back for another day? So I've been waiting for a couple of days to do that, simply because of the weather. One of the reasons I've come back this morning is because it's one of the few times where we've got bright sunshine, and I'm hoping that that will bring the hobbies out, because we'll get some insects coming up. It's also warmed up quite a lot today, so can't see anything at the minute. So my only concern is it's morning. Than normally when I've been up here, it's been in the afternoon, and that's when you've seen the hobbies hunting. So, and it does throw up another problem. I don't know whether you can see across here is where there's a platform that's quite high up, and there's a platform that's quite high up, and that's in the middle of the reserve, and it really gives you a good 360-degree view of all the reserve areas really. But the problem with it is it being in the middle, it cuts off the reeds on this side, which is a lot of the time where the hobbies have been coming, because it's a morning shot. If I'm shooting in the morning, I'm going to be shooting directly into the sun in the east on this side. So what I've done is I've come over to the eastern side of the reserve, so I can shoot more into the west, and hopefully then you know, I won't get the problem with shooting into the sun. But it's going to be quite difficult this morning, as I say, and it does cut down my options a little bit, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to stay here for a while and see if I can get anything. Obviously I can record the bit that I fouled up last time anyway, and yeah, it just gives me another opportunity to do a little bit more shooting up here at Langford. So I'll catch up with you in a while. So it's not looking brilliant at the minute. I'm hoping as it warms up that it might bring them out to feed. The problem, and I think I said this earlier on in the video, is that with any sort of wildlife, when you get a situation like this, so Lanford Lowfields here, in the past I've known that there's been perhaps 2 or 4 hobbies at any one time over the last 10 years or whatever, for you know, a little while, not for long. So when you're here up here and you're getting sort of 9 flying over you, and I think there was a report there was up to 16 on one day, that's something that potentially might happen next year, but it could be 10 years or 20 years before it happens again. So obviously if you've got a situation like that, you know, if you've got that amount of birds in the sky, then your chances of getting a decent image of them are much greater than if, you know, there's only 2. So again, that's a reason to try and keep coming back as much as you can. As I say, it doesn't help when you're trying to do vlogs and get some variety into your vlogs, but literally sometimes you just have to take those opportunities when they come along. So as I say, it could be that they've moved on. I suspect it's because it's morning, but I'm going to stick here for a while longer as it warms up and see if it brings those insects out, and then, you know, they start to feed. I think we had a lot of rain last night, so it's quite damp and moist and humid, so again that should help. I can hear the bittern booming again. That's been over in that area there. As far as I can tell, it's not moved for like 2 weeks. Can't hear any cuckoos this morning, but the black-headed gulls and the terns are making a noise. I don't know whether you can hear that on the audio. So yeah, I've not seen the Marsh Harrier either. I'm pointing my lens in that general direction where they seem to be coming from on the last couple of occasions that I've been up, and really it's just a waiting game. So obviously I'll take any images or anything else that comes along. I'll stick it here for a while, then go for a wander, then come back, you know, if I've not got any action happening here. And that's all you can really do. You know, that is literally wildlife photography for you. You can try and stack everything you can in your favour, but in the end, you know, if you've missed that opportunity, or you know, it can just be not the right day, and you know, you won't get that shot. So all you can do is keep going out and trying, and the more you get out with the camera, the more success you'll have. Right, I think I'm going to call it a day for today. It's been quite disappointing, and it's really down to the weather. I think what I was hoping for and what the weather forecast was suggesting was bright and sunny for this morning for at least 2 or 3 hours, and then it was starting to cloud over. It's actually clouded over within about 15 minutes. So, and it is quite cold. It's supposed to be 20 degrees today, but I don't think it's anywhere near that at the minute. It may be that, you know, we get that later on today, I don't know, but the weather forecast was for the warm sun this morning, which we haven't had, and of course that affects the hobbies. So you can imagine the hobbies are flying around because they're feeding, and what are they feeding on? They're feeding on insects, and the insects are flying when it's warm, and of course when it's not warm they're not flying around as much, and hence the hobbies aren't flying around as much either. So there's been a couple perched in the distance, but nothing you know, really spectacular like we had the other day. So I'm going to call it a day. at least it's enabled me to finish this video this morning. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, and if you've not subscribed to the channel, please think about subscribing. I'll be back next week with another video, and I'll see you then.